Some of the numbers from the opening quarter. And look at the rush yards for the Cowboys, 55 of them.
Well, that's going to be important as we move through this game. Not only the yards, but just keeping the score where it is so that you can continue to be balanced in what you're doing. Now, as I said earlier, Tony Romo has yet to try to challenge these outside these outside corners with Dez Bryant. Jerry Jones earlier in the week said, hey, we want to go after Richard Sherman with Dez Bryant. We like that matchup, and I like it too. But Richard Sherman's going to win his battles. Dez Bryant's going to win some of his. You've got to be real careful if you're Tony Romo when you're throwing the ball in his direction.
Tyler Klutz, a fullback, in front of DeMarco Murray on a first down carry, and that'll be a gain of 3. Big day on Fox and on FS1 tonight. Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. Giants behind Madison Bumgarner, shutting out the Cardinals last night. Lance Lynn on the mound. He'll be opposed by Jake Peavy. What a pickup he's turned out to be. And that'll be on Fox Sports 1 beginning at 7:30 Eastern Time tonight. Joe Buck, Harold Reynolds, and Tom Verducci from St. Louis. Murray, good blocking in front of him, and that is power football to get a first down. Ronald Leary leading the way for Murray, the NFL's leading rusher.
Well, Ronald Leary, he leads the way. He pulls from the left guard position, and then the rookie Zach Martin does an excellent job as well of finishing that off. That's a nice job of coming off the goal line there with a couple runs and picking up a first down.
It's a 21st run already this season of 10 or more yards for DeMarco Murray. They fake it to him, look at the long ball down the sideline and overthrown.
The Cowboys run essentially a two-man route. They're going to block it up, give Tony Romo some time in the pocket, one-on-one outside. Byron Maxwell on Dez Bryant. But the Cowboys, they start running the ball, and it just opens up the matchups to take advantage of off of the play action. So although they're not throwing the ball as much, they're able to force the ball down the field because of what they've been able to do with the running game.
Joseph Randall up close to the 25% play. They're still talking about it down in Dallas. A 37-yard reception in overtime. Jerry Jones called it one of the great plays in Cowboys history.
Well, it was a big-time play in order to set them up for the win last week against Houston. I think the thing that gets lost on that play is the fact that Tony Romo he had a guy barreling down on him, and he was able to get it out before he took a big-time hit.
3rd and 4. And denied first down yardage is Randall. There is a penalty flag down on the field. Malcolm Smith, last year's Super Bowl MVP.
Holding, number 41 defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
There's a break.
Well, once again, Byron Maxwell. I don't know about that. The way Dez Bryant came off the ball, it looked like he was blocking more than trying to get off the ball to run a route. Like they missed a face mask on that play also, but I can see where Maxwell was just trying to work through Dez Bryant to come up and make a play on the ball.
Nowhere to go on first down for Murray. Cam Chancellor coming up to make the stop. 2-time Pro Bowl safety. They were wondering if Chancellor was going to be able to play today. You may remember he had off-season hip surgery, and it's been bothering him again during this week of practice.
Yeah, and he is the leader of that defense. You talk to any of those guys, especially the secondary players, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, they'll tell you to a man, Cam Chancellor, when he doesn't speak a lot, but when he does, everybody pays attention.
Delay to Murray. That'll be a gain of almost 4. It'll bring up another third down.
There's offensive coordinator Scott Linehan, and it's been a little bit of an adjustment for him as far as calling these plays. He's always been a guy who's thrown the ball to set up the run. But he likes this young offensive line, and they've been able to be so effective with it that it's just been a change. Now they run the ball to set up the pass.
Dallas 3 of 4 on third down so far. Blitz coming. Romo delivers, and there's the first catch of the game for Dez Bryant. Up to the 47 and a first down.
Now they bring a linebacker inside, and because of that, then it voids a zone for Dez Bryant to be able to work the middle of the field. They're trying to bring pressure right in the face of Romo, but you see he's able to slide up, and how that then opened up for the conversion.
Welcome many of you from around the country. Just joining us here in Seattle, where the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys, they lost their season opener to the 49ers. They've won 4 in a row. And early on, it was not pretty. Romo took a big hit. Seahawks blocked a punt. Doug Baldwin. It was run in by Mike Morgan. It was 10-0 midway through the first quarter. Then Dallas put together an impressive drive. Escobar, the touchdown reception on 3rd and goal, and now Dallas on the move again, trailing 10-7. The Hall of Famer Troy Aikman and Carissa Thompson, Tom Brenneman, our entire crew from Seattle. And that is Joseph Randle, who ripped off a 38-yard run that was a big part of that Cowboy touchdown drive.
I'm telling you, I'd have to give him a few more opportunities than he's had. DeMarco Murray is a special player, but as I said earlier, Randle, when he's had his chances, I like what he's able to do. He finishes runs. He's pretty elusive. Got a good start to this game, and this running game has as well. This is a heck of a drive right here to start on the 5-yard line for the Cowboys.
The 11th play of the drive, and they're staying on the ground. Not much room this time for Murray. Well, you look at this Cowboy offensive line, and Troy touched on it earlier. You got a #1 pick at center. You got a #1 pick this year at right guard in Zach Martin. You've got the #1 pick from 2011 out of left tackle in Tyron Smith. Stretch it out to the 30, and once more that'll move the chains.
Well, you talk about it, a 12-play drive, and that defensive front is starting to tire. So you then are able to throw the football, and it affects the pass rush of what Seattle is able to do. I like what Dallas is doing on this drive.
From the 30, Murray spins his way and delivers a blow himself down to the 25. Let's check in downstairs with Carissa Thompson.
Guys, Bobby Wagner is listed as questionable with a right foot injury. They haven't taken him in for anything. I'll continue to keep my eye on it.
Tom, we came into this game, Seattle, not only had they not given up a 100-yard rusher, they had not given up a 40-yard rusher here in this first quarter. Joseph Randle and DeMarco Murray already, each of them over 40 yards rushing.
Yep, 44 for Murray, 52 on 4 carries for Randle. And they just keep going back to the well. Murray who's had his issues fumbling the football. There's a flag down.
Number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That'll be the right tackle, Doug Free. Murray's put it on the ground 4 times this year, all of them coming in the opening quarter of the game.
Yeah, that's one thing that he has to clean up. Last week against Houston, as you see the penalty there on Doug Free, pretty easy call. But last week, DeMarco Murray fumbles when they're going in to score. There's another drive. They're moving the football. Of course, the penalty hurts this team, but he's got to be able to protect the football better than he's been able to this year.
Oh, boy. Talked about Marshawn Lynch able to deliver a blow. Murray just did to Brock Coyle, the rookie who's in there replacing Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, I think DeMarco Murray was upset with himself for that ball getting away from him on the previous play. Wanted to take out a little aggression, but here we are at 3rd down. And as Pete Carroll said, they have to win on this down. They haven't been that good, but this is a difference between giving up touchdowns and having to settle for field goals.
Wagner on his way back to the locker room. And a penalty flag comes down. This will be offsides against Seattle, I believe.
Neutral zone infraction, number 72 defense. Got past the tackle. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, we talked to Romo yesterday, and you have to do silent count when you're here in Seattle. But you can't just have one silent count because these guys are too smart defensively. They'll pick up on that, and they'll still get a jump on the ball. So they have a variety of silent count mechanisms as to how the ball is going to be snapped and when it's going to be snapped. And that time, just not paying attention to the ball when it's gone.
So 3rd and 9 becomes 3rd and 4. Romo looking for Bryant. And it's broken up in the secondary by Byron Maxwell. And Maxwell just now getting to his knees.
Well, there on the slot, Des Bryant, he had a chance, but because Romo got flushed to his right, he was unable to plant his feet and really get enough on it. But Des Bryant, we saw the play he made last week. These are routine plays for him, but just unable to haul that in. More importantly right now for Seattle, Byron Maxwell on the ground, and they were already a little thin at the position.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. By Miller Lite, back in its original look. It's Miller time. And by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss.
Well, they continue to take a look at Byron Maxwell, injured after breaking up. A pass attempt to Des Bryant, and now Dan Bailey. He is Mr. Automatic. And with that successful field goal try, he has just become the most accurate kicker in the history of the NFL. More importantly, we're tied at 10. 10-10 game. Dan Bailey now 100 out of 110 since the Cowboys signed him back in 2011. He had hit 30 in a row until missing at the end of regulation last week and wound up winning it in overtime. And man, you talk about a weapon. The Cowboys have one in Bailey. He's just tied the game at 10. Seahawks with the football. 5:15 to play until halftime. And the Cowboys defenders claiming there was movement along that offensive line. A line that was hung with 7 penalties last Monday night in D.C.
Number 63 offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Let's check in downstairs with Carissa Thompson.
Yeah, not good news, you guys, on the Seattle sideline for Byron Maxwell, who was taken into the locker room with a right ankle injury. The trainers tried to have him stand up once he made his way over to the bench and put some weight on that right ankle. No luck. Sat down for a long time, looked very defeated. They took him in. We'll continue to watch that. And also Bobby Wagner still in the locker room.
Carissa, thank you very much. Russell Wilson will keep it and then throw it. did Justin Durant deliver a shot on Jermaine Kearse.
That's an outstanding job by Dallas defensively, being able to handle that play. Justin Durant comes out and snuffs it out. But Russell Wilson looks like he's going to keep it. They have this play to where if you overcommit then to the run, he's able to dump it out to the receiver. Cowboys not fooled. It's a good job.
Second down and 10. Wilson being chased by Crawford, and he will run it. Steps out of bounds for a gain of 3. Let's check in for the first time today with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Panthers and Bengals tied with 2 ticks left in overtime, but Cincinnati's Mike Nugent misses what would have been a game winner from 36 yards out. We have our first tie of the season, 37-37, Carolina and Cincinnati. Tom, Troy, and Carissa.
Thank you very much. Mike Nugent, who grew up just north of Cincinnati, was already on the hot seat in his hometown, and even hotter water now after that miss. It's a third down. And Wilson again having to scramble away from trouble. And it looks like they're short on the catch of getting a first down on the completion of Brian Walters.
This Cowboys defense is off to a good start today. A lot of talk about whether or not Dallas would be able to run the ball offensively, but the bigger matchup was how they would hold up defensively against this Seattle offense and containing Russell Wilson and his ability to scramble. But the secondary has done a nice job in coverage. There hasn't been anywhere for Russell to throw the football, and then they've been able to apply some pressure on him. So offensively, Seattle has not been able to do anything.
Puts a foot on it, end over end. Dwayne Harris from the 29-yard line. Cuts it back to the inside, up to the 40-yard line. And there is a penalty flag about 5 yards in front of where he was tackled.
During the kick, holding, number 39 receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
10-10. The Cowboys with the ball, looking for their first lead of this game. Seahawks and Cowboys tied at 10. So Marcus Burley, who works as their 5th defensive back, now replaces the injured Byron Maxwell. And we told you earlier, Bobby Wagner back in the Seahawks locker room. He's been replaced by a rookie, Brock Coyle. Let's see if those turn out to be significant injuries to Seattle. Murray, in a lot of traffic, is able to bust out of there and turn it into a positive 2-yard gain. Well, immediately following Game 2 of the NLCS on Fox Sports Live, our Carissa Thompson right here in Seattle. She'll have an exclusive one-on-one interview with the star of this game. Who will it be? Fox Sports Live tonight after the NLCS Game 2 on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Kind of expected the Cowboys to take a shot at Marcus Burley coming in aligned opposite of Des Bryant. Instead, they run the screenplay for not much of a game.
Witten nearly pulled it in with one hand. Step for step with him was Malcolm Smith. So it'll be a third down for the Cowboys.
And Malcolm Smith, all these linebackers can really run. And so they've got size. Malcolm Smith, last year's MVP in the Super Bowl, he just never located the ball. Had he have been able to find the ball, he might have been able to make a play on it. But a lot of pressure right now on this defensive front to get to Romo and help this secondary now that they've been depleted with the absence of Byron Maxwell.
Seahawks have Stephen Terrell on Jason Witten, and a timeout is called by Dallas. Terrell was just signed off the practice squad before the game. Jason Garrett's Cowboys facing a 3rd and 8 from their own 22-yard line. Wide open across the middle. And turning it into big yardage is Lance Dunbar up to the 43-yard line. Beautifully designed play there. And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning after the gain of 21. We invite you to follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 2 minutes to play until halftime. A quarter completely dominated by the Dallas Cowboys. The Seahawks have run 3 plays. They do not have a first down in this quarter. Murray stuffed at the line of scrimmage by Cliff Averill. The only Seahawks loss this year came in San Diego when the Chargers held the ball for 42 minutes in the game.
Well, you mentioned that Seattle has failed to get a first down. You know, in this quarter, of course, they lose 1 possession with the blocked punt, but they've not done anything offensively, and defensively, they've been unable to get off the field on 3rd down.
Looking for a whip. Very good coverage again by Malcolm Smith.
It was good coverage, Tom, but it looked like this was a ball that Jason Witten had an opportunity to make a play on. Tight coverage. Malcolm Smith never again gets turned to play the ball. Jason Witten doesn't miss many of these. And then on this other side, Richard Sherman, he draws the assignment on this play of Dez Bryant. They have yet to go after Richard Sherman, regardless of who he has been covering. They have not switched sides. He has stayed to his side. This time, Richard Sherman's on Terrence Williams.
Lay it off to Dunbar out of the backfield. He got a block. And unbelievably, on a 3rd down and 14, the Cowboys pick up the first down.
They've come underneath now a number of times, and the Seattle Seahawks have not had anyone to try to help cover the underneath receivers. They're so worried right now about getting underneath some of the deeper throws that those checkdowns to Lance Dunbar have been wide open.
Talk about a quarter dominated in every way imaginable by the Cowboys, and those numbers certainly back up that statement. But amazingly, it's still a tie game. Bryant beats Sherman, and Sherman somehow able to trip him up, and a penalty flag comes in.
They're probably going to call Richard Sherman at the end of this play. Richard Sherman knew he was beat. He was out of position.
Number 25 of the defense. 10-yard penalty. Excuse me, half the distance to the goal. First down.
I don't know if their feet got tangled up or not, but a great job of recovery after Bryant was able to make the reception of getting him to the ground and saving a touchdown. You take another look at the play, and
it didn't look like a good call.
Yeah, no, there was no real contact. I think they saw Sherman starting to stumble. He's going to the ground, and they just assumed that he grabbed.
Well, it's first down and goal from just inside the 10. They give it to Murray, and maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Again, Malcolm Smith, who did not play a single snap on defense last week against Washington, but he's in there after the injury to Wagner today.
That's one of the luxuries that they have, is they've had 4 good linebackers that can all contribute. So you lose Wagner and you're able to plug in then a guy like Malcolm Smith and let him go, and then they've also got the rookie Coyle.
Well, with all those guys, they're trying to figure out who's going to be on the field.
With the snap imminent, half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
That was Bruce Urban trying to get off the field.
So this Seattle team has not looked good. You know, you don't see an offense come in and dominate the line of scrimmage and do the things that the Cowboys have done very often here in Seattle. I mean, sometimes you see it on the road. You talked about what San Diego was able to do, but not here in Seattle. But the Cowboys have dominated this first half of play, both offensively and defensively.
A play clock down to 5. The delay to Murray. And he's able to slither his way down to the 2-yard line, which brings up 3rd and goal. And the Cowboys will spend a timeout. Jason Garrett's team has not led. They're trying to change that. Cowboys with a 3rd and goal just inside the 3.
Timeout Seattle. Their first charge timeout.
Coming up, the Visa halftime report. Let's check in with what's coming up with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Aaron Rodgers leads the pack to a last-second comeback. We've got an overtime thriller in Cincinnati. The Browns make a statement against the Steelers. We'll make sure you get caught up on a busy Sunday at the half.
I think Pete Carroll wanted to see exactly what Dallas had in mind. They had 3 tight ends in the game, and when they broke the huddle and went into their alignment, Pete Carroll then called a timeout to figure out how they want to play this defensively.
Once more, the Cowboys have Escobar in the game, along with Whit. And they find Witten for a touchdown, his first this season, and the first time today the Cowboys have the lead.
Initially, when Jason Witten comes off the ball, the Seahawks are all over him, but no inside pressure on Tony Romo. So he's able to take his time, and that's asking a lot to try to stay in coverage. Witten able to get free, and Romo gets him the ball for the touchdown. But here's, as he gets off the ball, Romo looked to him initially. There's nowhere to go. Witten frees himself up, but just no pressure on Romo, and he's going to pick you apart.
And that was a rookie, Brock Coyle, we brought up earlier, replacing Bobby Wagner, who was in coverage there on Witten. Romo had all day to throw it and delivers the goods. And for the first time this year, Witten is in the end zone. 10 plays, 80 yards, and they finally find Witten, who had gone 5 games into this season, the longest stretch of his career without scoring a touchdown, and that was career reception number 900. Only the great Tony Gonzalez with more. Of course, Tony Romo said earlier in the week, Witten might go down as the greatest Cowboy of them all. There's a lot of debate about that, but
well, yes, but his point was well taken. And Jason Witten is a great football player.
Yes. Well, I must ask you, Troy Aikman, who certainly has to qualify as one of the greatest Cowboys of them all as well. You and I wondered, and we talked a lot about this yesterday and before the game today, could Dallas at 4-1 come in here and make a statement? There is no question they have made one at least through the first half of the game.
Well, they've played exceptionally well. They've dominated the line of scrimmage really on both sides of the ball. And you got to ask yourself, because I really have not seen Seattle play the way that they are playing here at home. Not a lot of energy. They stayed after the Monday night game in Washington. They stayed the night, tried to get rested, flew back on Tuesday. Whether or not that's had an impact on this game or not, but it just does not look like the same team.
Well, they try to set up the screen to Percy Harvin, and then not fool the Dallas Cowboys. And again, the Seahawks are 10 seconds away from having played this entire second quarter without a single first down. Give it to Robert Turbin, and that will be the final play of this opening half. Things getting a little testy down there. Pushing and shoving. That's the way the first half will come to an end. Dallas will get the ball to begin the second half. You may remember they won the toss. And the Cowboys have a 10-point lead at halftime. Let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. It's time for the Visa halftime right